Hey everybody, it's Dana. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and blog. So today I'm going to be sharing with you how to do ink blending. So usually we do ink blending with this little ink blender, but I came across these makeup brushes on Amazon and they are fantastic for blending ink. So let me go ahead and show you what the brushes look like. So you're going to get 10 of them in this cute little packaging, and the brushes are really soft and dense. They have these great handles on them, which makes ink blending very, very easy. So I'm just going to pull one of these out and I'm going to share with you how I'm starting to get the feel of these brushes. Like I said, they're very dense and they make color blending super, super easy. So I'm grabbing 3 of my favorite Distress Oxide inks: Cracked Pistachio, Peacock Feathers, and Mermaid Lagoon. And I've been testing these out as soon as I got them in the mail, and I found that there's 2 good ways to put down your ink with this. So as you can see, I'm just grabbing some of the ink right onto that brush and just very lightly going across my cardstock. Now this cardstock is inexpensive cardstock. This is the Georgia Pacific cardstock from Walmart. And what I'm doing is leaving the center part of my card panel light. Now, if you're using a stronger color or a darker color, I have a tendency to want to dab that color off first before I bring it to my cardstock. So as you can see, I grabbed myself a scratch piece of paper and I'm just dabbing off that color actually before I bring it to my card panel. And this allows me to get a really pretty soft blend, and I'm not going heavy-handed with this. Now, the great thing about these makeup brushes is the way it's designed. You can place your finger right on the top and it stays flat and helps you give it a little bit more control to your ink blending than I normally would get if I had my small ink blender. Now, these makeup brushes are used usually for foundation, to put your foundation on. But when I saw these, I was like, I wonder if I could use these as well just to blend ink. So as you can see, it blends it so pretty across the cardstock where you get a very nice soft center and your edges are a little bit more dark. And again, I'm not going too hard. I'm not pushing hard with this tool, but it just gives you such an easy blend. Now I'm just going to go back to that peacock feather and blend out that Mermaid Lagoon. I'm going to bring that up a little bit more into that cracked pistachio, and look how pretty that is. Now I'm going to show you another way to build up with these makeup brushes. So I'm just going to clean off my brush on that scratch piece of paper. And now I'm going to come in and I'm going to do some circle motions. So this motion is what we would normally do if we were doing it with the smaller little blending tool. Now this allows me to pick up some color, and I'm really not pressing into that ink pad heavy. I'm very lightly just tapping the brush on there and bringing it to my cardstock. But the heavier I push, the more color is going to release from that brush. So as you can see, I can get a very strong color towards the bottom. But as I work my brush outward, it's getting lighter and lighter for me. And I'm just going, as you can see, in circular motions, and I'm just pulling up some of that color, and it's giving me a beautiful gradation to that paper without a lot of work, at all. So look how pretty that looks. A very nice and clean movement of that ink up my paper, and as I go higher, it just gets lighter and lighter. So now, since I have the color the way I want it, I'm going to stop. And look how pretty that is. A great gradation. Now, lastly, I'm going to show you how to put down a little bit more color and really blend out 3 colors. Again, I'm tapping just on the top of my ink and bring it to my paper. Now, if you press a little bit too hard with this, you might get some darker color that's laid down. But never have to worry about that, because when we're using Distress Oxide inks, once we add water, it will soften everything up and get everything to blend better. Now, the reason I find that these work for me a little bit better is one, my hand doesn't get tired. Like if you struggle with carpal tunnel and that circular motion really bothers you when you're holding a smaller tool, this is going to eliminate that for you. With the handle being up into the palm of your hand, it just really makes blending of the ink a little bit easier. I shouldn't say a little bit easier, it's really a lot easier this way. So now since I have down that color, I'm just going to build it up just a tiny bit more across the bottom. I'm going to now go into my peacock feathers. Now all I had to do again was just gently rub off that brush onto that scratch piece of paper, and then I can start pulling in my color again. Now, like I said, this paper is just the Georgia Pacific paper. Normally, if I was going to really create something, I would probably use my Bristol paper for this, because to me, any of the Distress Oxide inks work really well with the Bristol paper. It's just a smoother paper, and I find that for me, it just gives me a little bit better result. But I wanted to show you that you can really do this with your very inexpensive paper as well. So as you can see, I'm able to blend those two colors in nicely. Again, I am adding a little bit more pressure to this than the technique I used in the beginning, and that's just because I want my color to be darker. Now I'm going to go ahead and just finish adding in just a little bit more of that peacock's feathers. And now I'm going to go back to that cracked pistachio. But you can already see what a great blend I'm getting with very, very little effort. Again, these brushes seem to pick up a little bit more color than the normal sponge version of the blending tools. And I'm really not using a lot. As you can see, I'm literally just tapping on that ink pad and pulling that color in. And look how beautiful that is. And like I said, it's not a lot of work when you're blending this. So look how gorgeous that is. Now I am going to hit this with a little bit of water just to get those colors to start blending a little bit for me. And then also to get those pretty little watermarks that Distress Oxide inks and Distress inks are known for. So I'm just going to dab that up. I'm going to add a few more squirts just because I want to see those watermarks. Now, mind you, this is cheaper paper, so it is going to bow a little bit on me, but that's okay. So I'm just dabbing that off, and that smooths out some of those lines for me. And look how pretty. Super, super easy. So I would just say if you can get your hands on these brushes from Amazon, you really should make this an investment, and they're not very expensive. So here's a card panel I made earlier before I did the video, and I just wanted to share this with you. So don't forget to pick up your brushes, and you guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.